Hello everyone, welcome back to Life Lessons with Mr. D. I hope you enjoyed our last video on navigating through the Metroplex, even if you don't have your GPS. Today I have a short video on car maintenance. They're really important things for you to know if you're going to have a car. You may not have a lot of mechanical experience and you may not care to know about a lot of stuff on how to fix a car, but knowing just a few simple things is going to keep your car running longer and keep you safer. So the first is to keep in mind that cars run on fluid. There's a lot of different fluids that a car needs to run. Gas, oil, transmission fluid, water or coolant, power steering fluid, etc. There are a lot of different things. Now, if you're anything like me, my first car was kind of just held together with duct tape, and it was constantly leaking things. So I got really used to seeing puddles underneath my car. Um, if you know what the colors of the different fluids are, then you can kind of diagnose what might be wrong with your car. Oil usually comes into a car kind of an ambery colored, but if your car is leaking oil, it probably means that the oil got a lot of deposit and sediment from the engine. So it goes in kind of an amber color, but if it's been in the engine for a while, it's going to come out as a thick, goopy black color. So watch out for that. Transmission fluid is often red. Coolant or antifreeze is often a greenish color. Wiper fluid could be blue or green. So just knowing what these different things are in different colors there are can be really helpful. Now I should note that when it's really hot and really humid and you've been running your air conditioner for a long time, you might notice a water puddle underneath your car. That's nothing to worry about. That just means there's condensation building up around your air conditioner and it's just dripping off when you're done. But be mindful if you see puddles even when you haven't been running your air conditioner for a while, even if it's not a really warm or humid day, that may be a sign of something else leaking. Now, if you open up the hood of the car, most cars have caps that cover the fluid reservoirs, and a lot of them are labeled. They're either labeled with a symbol or they're labeled with the actual word, and some of them even show you like what level they should be at. Now, the newer your car is, the more things are going to be covered up. They do that partially to dampen the sound and partially because the car makers would rather they work on your car than you work on their car because they know they'll do it right and also they'll get money if you pay them to fix it. So it may be a little harder to find things in there, but it would be worth your time to just take a moment and look to see where things are. Now in the front of a car, right behind the grill is the radiator. That usually will have a metal cap if you can get to your radiator cap. Keep in mind that you should never open a car's radiator when the car has been running because the water in the radiator cools the engine. Well, in order for it to do that, it heats up the water and the water becomes steam. If you open the radiator when the radiator is hot, steam will escape and then you won't have the water in your car that you need. Also keep in mind, cars will need periodic oil. Your car will leak a little bit of oil or your car's oil will need to get changed because it gets dirty. Some cars, especially as they get older, will lose oil over time, just dripping here and there. And so you may need to check your oil level. So you'll see it's probably yellow. It maybe even has an oil little emblem, kind of looks like an Aladdin's lamp. That's where you can fill the oil in, but there's also a dipstick, a long tube with a metal stick in it, and that can show you the level of the oil in your engine. So you can pull the dipstick out, wipe it off, and then put it back in, and then pull it out again, and that shows you the level that you're at, and it'll tell you, do you have the right amount of oil, or do you need a little bit more, or have you overfilled the oil? Maybe there's too much. It's a good idea to get your oil changed every 3,000 to 5,000 miles. And most people don't like to change their own oil, which is fine. Take it to a mechanic and have them change the oil. And when they do, you can usually ask them, can you check the other fluids for me? A lot of them will even do this without asking, and they'll even top off the rest of your fluids for free, just as a courtesy to you while you're getting the oil changed. You should also check your tires. Tires will frequently run low or even run flat. So you need to make sure that you're monitoring your tire pressure so that they don't go flat while you're driving. Car tire pressures will be somewhere around 33 psi. SUV and truck tires will be a little bit higher, and those really small spare tires will usually be very high, somewhere around maybe 60 psi. PSI is talking about the pounds of pressure per square inch of the tire. If you look inside the door on the driver's side of a vehicle, there's often a little sticker, a little decal that tells you what size tires and wheels came with the car and what their PSI is. If you look on the size of the tire, generally that's also printed on the tire saying this should be inflated to whatever, PSI that tire's rating is. Now, when you buy tires, tires have mileage ratings, and they can drive farther than their mileage rating, but they're not guaranteed to. So you can, if you know when you got your tires and how long you've driven on them, then you know about when they're going to wear out. But if you don't, you can still test on your own. Get a penny and turn it to where Lincoln's head is facing your tire and insert the penny inside the tread, the grooves of your tire. If you can see his entire head, then you definitely need to get your tires replaced. Get them replaced really, really soon. If his head is totally covered up, then you're fine, and you can drive on them for a while, unless you get a nail in them or something like that. If you can see some and not all, then that shows you're somewhere in the middle of needing new tires or not. When in doubt, you can often go to a tire shop and they'll usually advise you on how long you have left to drive. But do keep in mind that if their job is to sell you tires, they're going to err on the side of caution. They're going to recommend you replace them as soon as things start to get close. Some tires also have tread wear indicators, which is a little strip of rubber that's perpendicular to the tire treads. And as soon as the tire treads wear down to that other strip and those two lines intersect and they're the same height above the tire, that shows you, oh, now my tread is worn down, it's too low, and I need to get that tire replaced. So it's illegal for you to drive without a driver's license. I know that we all probably know that, but I should say that just so we're all on the same page. But it's also illegal to drive your car if you haven't had it inspected and registered. So, once you have your valid driver's license, you need to check the windshield sticker on your car. It looks like the picture on the screen here. And that will have a date. And that date says that that is when it expires. So if it says June of 2020, then that means you have until the end of June 2020. And at that point, your car has an expired registration. So it's really simple. All you need to do is take your car to a mechanic and say that you need an inspection. And they're going to inspect your car and make sure it's safe and running and all of the things work like they're supposed to. And then you can go online. You can just Google search Texas Department of Motor Vehicles vehicle registration. And you can do an online registration. They'll look up the records of the mechanic. They'll see that your car passed its inspection. You'll pay a fee, and then they'll send you the sticker to stick on your windshield. And there's lots of online Q&As, so you can figure out if you have any questions about that. That wraps up our quick session on vehicle maintenance. The next time we're going to talk about emergency repairs. These are repairs that you may need to do on the side of the road because of something that's happened. They're very important. They're something that every single driver should know. And even if you don't drive, even if you're a passenger, it's really important for you to know. So I hope that you'll catch us for that next session. Again, questions in the comments. I'll do my best to reply to everyone, and I'll see you later.